And
Well,
we're back.
hello. Welcome back to the next episode from the previous time, again, that we recorded an episode, except it's this week, the most current episode.
Just in case you're not picking this up, sequentially, one episode comes after another, and this would be the next episode that was after the last one, making it the next episode. But it's not next week's episode. It sounds similar, but just try to keep up.
Yeah. We haven't invented time travel quite yet, so we can't record the episode for the future for next week until next week arrives. And then we'll be in the present, but it'll be like it's kind of the future, but it's the present.
Gonna leave that one right there for you. Think on that for a little bit, scratch your head a little, and let us know what you think. But yeah, I'm excited to be back. This is becoming a fun thing every single week.
I'm not having fun, actually. As I'm thinking about it, I think we should just stop now.
Right? Not gonna lie, I expected that. But how's your week been, man? Even though we talk every day, I'm just gonna ask for the
Yeah.
sake
Yep.
of us talking here.
Because everyone else has to know how our weeks have been. So we have to have
First
this
thing they're wondering.
conversation for the 17th time again, just so everyone else can hear it.
Yes.
But it was good. I don't know. Yesterday, Tuesday rolled around and I'm like, it's only Tuesday. It feels like it should have been Wednesday or Thursday. It's one of those weird, like Tuesday being the most weekday day of the week. And I know you and I have talked about this, I don't know how many times, but like traditionally, I'm sure everyone can relate to this. Like Sunday, you kind of have the Sunday blues. You're like, okay, weekend's almost over. But then you get to Monday, you're like, okay, first day of the week, new opportunity. I can do this. I'm going to skip Tuesday for now. But you go to Wednesday, like you make it to Wednesday, halfway through the week, you're like, okay, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. After Wednesday, it's Thursday, which is basically pre-Friday. Friday's Friday, which means it's basically the weekend. But you hit Tuesday, and it's like Tuesday's just Tuesday. It's just
I
like
will
I finished the first day of the work week, but I still have 4 more days, and it's Tuesday. Like every day of the week has its thing except Tuesday.
I will say that I don't know, I'm pretty sure I coined this. This
Nope.
was a revelation I had as soon as I was born. I came out and I knew a lot of
Yep.
stuff. But no, it's just so true. Tuesday is the purest weekday of the week. There's
Absolutely.
nothing to look forward to. Nothing cool is behind it. It's just the day Tuesday. That's like it's think about that for a while. You're probably it's gonna sit on your mind for a little bit and amaze you like it did me. But Tuesday is the most weekday of the week, as we've said 6 times now. But
Yes.
I think my least favorite day is 100% Monday. Like I don't like Sunday very much. I mean, I love going to church. I love just kind of the relaxation that comes with it, but Monday just murders my Tuesday. Or yeah, Monday murders my Tuesday. Usually Monday murders my Sunday every single week. It's
Yep.
just like you can't you got to go to bed earlier. You're going to get
Yep.
up and it's like no matter how fun the weekend is, it's gone now and like it's time to be an adult again. Um
Yay.
yeah, it's just I don't know. It's an emotional topic. I don't know if we should dive into it right now. I might
Well, I'm about to
cry a
take
little
it a
bit.
step further. It's like the
Please.
last day of vacation. It's like you're still on vacation. You don't have to travel yet because the travel day is the next day, but it's your last full day on vacation. And it's just you start getting in that mentality that you're like, oh my gosh, the whole week that I had to go on vacation's now like pretty much over. I'm still on vacation, but that thought of knowing you have to travel home the next day and get back in a normal routine just tends to ruin the last day of vacation.
It's ridiculous, man. And one of the worst parts is the second to last day is also extremely diminished from the last day of vacation. And on the last day of vacation, you're doing things that are not vacation-esque. You're packing your
Yeah.
bags. You're cleaning up the house. No one is
Oh
making
no.
any plans. If anyone, and the worst part is, I will say your mom kills me with this. She does it every single time we go on vacation. She will like we get close to the last day and she's like the last day in 2 days. Oh, and I'm just like
Yeah. Don't need the reminder right now.
But no, the last day of vacation, man, it isn't even vacation really because
No,
your mind is like not
checked out.
enjoying like the vacation anymore. Like all the
Yeah.
stuff that was so cool about getting there. You know, it's also one of the worst thoughts ever that I can't get out of my head, but it happens every time
What?
when we or anyone or myself, it doesn't matter, pull up to anything they want to be at. You're so excited to be there. It's finally here. And you think to yourself, in the blink of an eye, I'm
Yep.
going to be wishing that I could go back to this moment right here. And it almost just like it kills you. Like it just makes it so like you're just like, no matter what, this is going to end. And at the
Yep.
end of this, I'm going to be sad.
It's
I don't
like the
know, man.
vacation's over before it ever starts.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, I feel like this year, I mean, not taking away from years past to where when we've gone to like Florida for vacation, those times have been awesome. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like this year, for some reason, this was the most relaxing vacation I think I had been on in a very long time. Not saying we stayed longer, shorter, like it was the same amount of time as years past, but for whatever reason, I felt like this was the most relaxing, fulfilling vacation that I've had in a long time. And it's just like, I think because there weren't other extenuating circumstances to be stressed out over. Um, if you catch my vibe, I was just
Yeah.
able to literally, and we've been telling each other this for a long time, like be in the moment. Don't sit there, worry about the future, all this stuff. Just be intentional with where you're currently at. And
Yeah.
I think that really, really helped. I mean, especially this go around a vacation, because I mean it was literally taking it one day at a time and being in the absolute moment,
Yeah.
soaking up everything that we did.
Yeah. I really, growing up being a little bit crazier than not everyone else, but I was just kind of a crazy kid growing up. And even as an adult, it's so hard for my mind to shift that the beach is not for getting blackout drunk and, running around. We're not
We
always.
did
I mean,
that
it's
2
just
years
like,
ago. 2 years ago. That was bad.
but it fades. I'm not saying it doesn't
Yeah.
happen, but
Yeah.
wait, I didn't do anything crazy.
No, you remember day 1 last year?
Bro, I just got drunk.
Well,
It
no,
wasn't
like,
like I was
well,
blackout.
no, I mean, we didn't get to that point, but it was just the level of like,
We
we
were
went
so
hard
excited to be there.
literally within the first couple hours and then sitting at the beach in the ocean, enjoying
Mm.
100%. And then we come up to the beach house after, get showered up, get ready for dinner. And we end up going to probably the most popular restaurant from what it seemed like at the freaking time
Oh my
on
gosh.
Anna Maria Island. We literally waited for what, 2 hours to even get in.
No,
And by
we
this
waited
point,
3 hours.
yeah, I mean, it was literally way too long to eat at this place. Like, it was a good restaurant, don't get me wrong, but to wait 3 hours, absolutely not.
No, and
But
the
we were
worst
sitting
part
there like we're sitting on a dock. Like we were absolutely starving. And by this point, the drinks had worn off and it was just you're starting to get that headache and just feel like absolute trash. You're just like, okay, this is not a good time right now. And there's a good picture that was taken to document that experience, and I'm thinking of it right now. But that was yeah, that was a heck of a first day.
and the worst part is exactly what you said. When you are really going, the train's going hard, you've had some good drinks, and then all of a sudden there's this
Lull.
just stagnancy, and all of a sudden everything's wearing off, and you start getting a headache, you're really hungry, you're dehydrated, it's hot
You don't want
outside,
to
you're
talk.
sweating. Yeah,
Yeah.
no one's having a good time anymore. Everyone's just pissed off to
Eating.
to not be drunk after you've like put all that work into it all day. So yeah,
Oh
it's
my
it's
gosh.
it's definitely just one of those. I mean, it's kind of like getting caught in the deep end when you don't have a life jacket.
And
When you
there's an
get caught with
undertow.
too much time
Yeah.
in between drinks,
Oh,
you just it does something different to you.
yeah.
But to go back to what I was saying is, I've always had like I still struggle with that paradigm shift of like if you put me around the beach, I'm just like my brain is like time to party. This is exactly what the beach is for. And this last vacation we went on, we literally our schedule every single day was get up, eat some sort of breakfast, obviously.
Have a leisure morning though, was the kick.
Leisure, it was not rushed at all. Eat some sort of breakfast, go to the beach, spend about 4 hours at the beach, everyone just chilling,
Getting
getting
some
in
good
and out of the
ocean
ocean.
time. Oh yeah.
Had some, had drinks on hand, and
Yep.
then we'd go from there back to the house. Actually, we didn't spend 4 hours because we would go back to eat lunch or do something for lunch. But eventually, when we were
Hang
done
by
with the
the
beach,
pool.
yeah, done with the yeah, exactly. We'd go back from the beach, eat lunch, hang by the pool, go out to dinner that night, and then watch a movie and go to bed. We were in bed by like 9:30 every night, and
It was honestly amazing.
it was
It was incredible.
I've never enjoyed my age so much.
But like I think that's the huge paradigm shift. Like from last year to this year, especially, like we literally saw two different sides. It was just like what we used to do, and then kind of turning over a new leaf, like, enjoy some drinks still for sure. But at the same time, it didn't revolve around that. It was literally just getting pure enjoyment from being at the beach and driving around on the golf cart. So for those that have never been to Anna Maria or don't know what it is, it's like super far south on the western side of Florida on the Gulf side, probably an hour south of Tampa, but it's a little island. Um, Complete golf cart town. I mean, you literally all the people drive golf carts around. I mean, it is the most laid back, chill vibe, probably. I mean, at least that I've experienced when it comes to a vacation. But it's
Yeah.
just like, yeah, if you want to go grab breakfast in the morning, you got your board shorts on or whatever, hop on the golf cart, go grab something
Ah,
to
bro.
eat, just drive around too. I mean, the amount of times that we drove around on the golf cart too in the evening time, just like enjoying watching the sunset across the water, just enjoying the scenes. My gosh, like such a good vacation.
Yeah. You know what cracks me up?
What's that?
Literally, Florida is only good on the coast. If you go inland
Oh,
Florida, Florida sucks.
you've
Florida
had some
is like
experience in that.
a hellhole. It's like all of the gosh, this is so humid and hot and ridiculous with no saving graces. There's
Yeah.
just pavement, trees, and alligators will eat you. Like, and it's insane how many alligators are in Florida. It is mind blowing. But
Sounds
yeah,
like Louisiana.
oh man, I mean but again, Louisiana really doesn't have many redeeming qualities. If you've never been to Louisiana, the shittiest part, I apologize. The worst part is the north part of Louisiana where I grew up, Shreveport, Louisiana. I always tell people it's a great place to drive through, but the better part of Louisiana that everyone loves to go to for Mardi Gras and things like that is going to be New Orleans and Baton Rouge in the South. But it's just, and you have more to do outside in Louisiana than some other states, I guess. There's the swamps and there's a lot of fishing, there's a lot of hunting, but it's kind of like you have to be pretty intentional about doing stuff outside. It's kind of similar to Dallas, where all there is to do is eat and drink,
Yeah.
unless you have like an outlet for outdoors, in terms of you don't just get to go outside on a bunch of land in Louisiana. You got to be on someone's land.
Yeah.
Very rarely do you get to
Do it.
just go out to whatever land you
Yeah.
want to go out to. Someone owns that. And you're now within the realm of getting shot.
Trespass. I don't
Yeah.
know. I heard at least northern part of Louisiana. I've heard Ruston is
I
really
knew you
nice
were
this
going
time
to.
of year.
I knew for a fact you were going to do that. I've never seen Ruston is legitimately like Shreveport's child. It's like Shreveport had a baby with Jackson, Mississippi, and they came up with Ruston, Louisiana.
Nice.
Ruston, Louisiana is the worst city. I would rather go to Juarez, Mexico, and take my
Wow.
chances versus. I'm kidding, but it's just like it's
But not really.
the entire identity of the town is the college. Louisiana Tech is there, and I went there for 2 years. If you're not involved in some type of sorority, fraternity, or group, it's very hard to make friends. I'm just also not very likable, so I understand. But it's just like it's kind of, and the worst part about being in the sororities and fraternities is they take it as seriously as they do at a big college like LSU, but
Yeah.
it doesn't have all the fun behind it. You know, I'm sure a lot of people have fun, but they're all pretty, you know, it's not like the Greek life is not like anything to like really be super excited about. And
Yeah.
there's nothing worse than when someone's entire identity becomes some type of Greek life, especially when it's like a 25% version of what people really expect or want from you know, quote unquote Greek life. And
A big SEC school. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like a big SEC school. Like I went to Arkansas University where my little sister went to college, just graduated from. She's getting her master's. Shout out, young little sister. But that
Her name
was,
is actually just Little Sister, by
yeah.
the way.
I mean, we they named her when she was born, but
Yeah.
we changed that. We said no,
Yeah.
that's not your name.
It's like
She-
Walking Bear across moon for like a Native American name. It's except it's just Little Sister.
Hey, man, be careful. Trying
I
to get us
know.
canceled.
Canceled.
Yes. But little sister and that Greek life is like the houses have 90 rooms. It's just like some stuff where you're like, who, like, who, I understand who buys into it, but when you find out how much money it costs to buy into it, you're truly just like, okay, this takes a different person.
Yeah. Dude, I was going to say on the note of all that stuff, of course, anything, infiltrates your Instagram feed. And as I was scrolling through of like, just sports stuff, video game stuff, of course, this random thing pops in. And it's just like this lady, her entire page is reviewing sorority girls' rush outfits and how much they cost. Have you seen some of
Wow.
those videos?
No, I never have. That
Dude,
doesn't pop up in my feed. We're
okay.
different
So
people.
one of the local schools in the DFW area, SMU, can't stand that school. Go Mean Green. Um, she was reviewing this one girl's rush outfit. So freshman, okay? And this shows this is daddy's money in every sense of the term. She was wearing like crazy clothes, this all kinds of jewelry, like pure gold, all this stuff. But like I'm pretty sure the outfit totaled to be around like 60 grand because she was wearing Cartier bracelets, Cartier rings, multiple like layers of bracelets, her shoes, her outfit, all this stuff totaled to be thousands upon thousands of dollars, literally for one instance. Because rush isn't just a one day thing, it's a multi day process.
I think it is. I don't remember. I did do Rush, but yeah, it's a definitely a multi-day process.
Yeah.
You got to go
But like
all the
just
different houses.
imagine though, one outfit for one day, how many other outfits do you have to have that cost just as much money to do all that stuff? I'm
Well, I mean,
just like, oh, holy cow. I couldn't wrap my head around that.
what baffles me is how much money do you have to spend $60,000 on your daughter's
Outfit.
sorority outfit? That probably wasn't
Yeah.
even like a outfit for that occasion. It was just an outfit she already had in her closet, which is probably
Yeah.
worth $1 million. But
But
I'm gonna,
for a fact, if they're going to, SMU, kind of prim and proper,
yeah.
that whole dynamic into rushing, the girls are gonna want a new outfit, like hands down. She's
If
gonna
you
want
want,
new stuff.
if you want your woman to literally probably piss pumpkin spice lattes, then SMU would be a perfect place to go
Oh my
search.
gosh. I
I mean,
can't
that's
stand that school for so many reasons. Crazy enough, when I was finishing up my basics after going to junior college, I was wanting to transfer to SMU as one of my potential schools. I am so glad I didn't.
bro. I mean, let's
There's
get
no, would you have imagined me at SMU living that like Dallas lifestyle? Not like I would have, but it would have bled into me somehow, some way.
you would have had to have made friends that were all about that. And it's
Yeah.
just not. And listen, when we say Dallas lifestyle, what we're saying is I call it the land of $30,000 millionaires.
Shout out Chad
Everyone,
Hemmings.
right? I don't know. It's kind of a weird place to shout it out because it's like you're calling him that.
Because my dad's the one that said that.
I was the one that said that.
My dad said it around us. Yep.
No, he didn't. No, he d I
Yeah.
said that before
Yeah.
I got to Dallas. I used to say that in Shreveport. Your dad did not say that. No, no,
Yes,
I
he
came
did.
up with that, and
100%.
I'm not saying he couldn't have come up with it as well, but I did not get it from your dad.
That's me. I
It's
thought of
me.
that.
I've only got a few things in life and I'm holding on to them tight. That is one of them. But I, not Chad Hennings, call it the land of $30,000 millionaires. And what we mean by that is if you go to downtown Dallas, everyone is trying to look and be perceived as if they make a lot of money. I know there's a lot of places like that, but it's a very like popular girl high school vibe. You know, the guys are, oh, I swear to anything that I could draw a picture of the outfit that almost every guy in downtown Dallas is going to have.
100%.
A collared kind of like
Button
silk
down.
looking shirt
Yep.
with a vest. If you're in finance, if you're in
Finance
business,
bros.
finance bros, there's a lot of them. If you're in just general business, you're going to have a button down with the sleeves pulled up and some tight slacks on with some brown shoes. And
The
yeah,
slick
long
back
story
hair.
short, yeah, exactly. Long story short, it is just you can unless that's your thing and that's your crowd and that's where you want to be known as being cool. It's you can only take so much of it, and it's
Yeah.
also even if you're in that, it's very hard to be like in it.
Yeah. And we're not dogging on anybody, but
Yeah,
it's just really funny to see kind of that stereotype fulfilled because it's so dang real.
yeah, it's extremely real, and it's there's something about when you see a stereotype in life and it's exactly what everyone said, and you're like, I'm not supposed to
Yeah.
buy into this, but this is kind of being sold to me
Yeah.
as the product was described.
And you technically can't get mad about the stereotype because you're the one fulfilling it. So it's kind of like a catch 22. It's like you can't get mad about it because it's so accurate
Yeah.
and you're the one actually carrying it out. So it's like, come on.
Well, I always say stereotypes exist for a reason.
That's a third thing you've come up with. Wow. And we're sticking with it. I know.
And I always say that. No one else
Yeah.
says that.
No
No
one
one
else
else in
says
this
that.
world has says that. And you know what? No, it's a stereotype that lives up to their stereotype.
Hmm.
Asian tourists.
People from Louisiana.
100%. But you will see high shorts, a collared shirt, and a big camera hanging around the neck. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, when I went to Disney World, that was just like everywhere you looked. And it's nothing about Asians. It's just that some stereotypes
Yep.
are there for a reason.
It's
And
true.
it's because they're supported by the people they're about. Just like,
Exactly.
you know, yeah, exactly.
Yep. We won't go down that road, but we could, but we're not going to.
Trying to be careful. Wait till we make a bunch of money before I really start speaking my mind.
But we do, but we just pretend we don't have it.
Yeah,
Remember? We're
yeah.
we're, we're sticking with that dynamic. It's
I mean, this podcast, let's just say, like, we've had to turn down Joe Rogan at least six
yeah,
times now, and it's getting embarrassing
it is.
because when he reaches out, you can just see it's desperate, and
Yeah.
it's just like there's just something about it that is a turnoff, so we just don't
Mm,
feel right.
yeah,
We don't want to not be ourselves and feel like we're giving something to someone else and giving them a platform. And he's a
exactly.
great guy, but I
For
don't
sure.
want to be, it's weird when someone looks at you like that.
Yeah. But Joe Rogan, if you ever want to have us on,
Yeah.
I mean, we'll think about it.
Yeah.
That'd be
We'll,
dope. Please have us on.
we'll put it in the old idea mill and see what comes out.
Exactly. We'll ask the good old magic 8 ball. Just be like, should we do this?
Yeah. And man, I hate to bring it up, but we did watch the debate.
Yeah, I started it. I mean, Keegan and I were on the phone for the first probably 30-ish minutes of it, and after we got off the phone, I watched maybe 15 minutes more and I had to turn it off because it was just I thought it was a crap show kind of all around. I personally, after watching that being hosted by ABC, I just felt like it was a 3-on-1 literally the entire time. Some of the moderators I felt like at times were lobbing little, soft, slow pitches to Kamala so she could just hit it straight into left field and get the home run. Meanwhile, they were, aggressively, I don't say aggressively, but passively attacking Trump as well.
well, they were legitimately correcting him and referring to something Kamala said, and be like, "Well, no, this is true, by the way. This is this," and then like ask him to respond. It wasn't like, "What is your response to that?" It's like, "Let me add weight to what she said, and then I'm
Yeah.
gonna ask you to respond to it." And then they went down this like laundry list of items that they were just like, it was literally just grilling him the whole time. And the entire thing Kamala was doing is just like, "You're gonna hear lies, and you're gonna hear this. Everything is about Trump."
Yeah.
And I'm not going to
He
talk about
doesn't care
anything.
about you.
There was no there was very few parts where there was any talk of actually steps in a plan,
Yep.
in
It was all
terms
just
of,
attacking.
it was just allegory of like really idealistic, far reaching things to say, like we need to unite and all this. Like it's just like true, but it's you're
What are
this
you
has
gonna do
been
to unite in the first place?
this has been the worst, in my opinion, the worst administration ever. Like
Yep.
everything
Agreed.
sucks right now. Houses are insanely expensive. In terms
Food's
of what I
expensive.
make for a single person, I don't feel as if I make enough. And it's ridiculous. Back in 2019, I would be probably still broke because I'd spend it all anyways, but I'd buy a lot more things, and that's what's important.
Exactly. Well, I mean, there's something to be said when gas is sub $2 per gallon. And it's just to kick this off, I mean, the first question of the debate last night, of course, the question was lobbed right to Kamala, but honestly, it was a fair question. When the moderators asked her, "Are we better off today than we were 4 years ago?" And her automatic response was to completely not answer the question, but just start attacking Trump. So completely deferred, not even answering, "Are we better off?" Because if she truthfully answered it, absolutely not. 99% of America, I guarantee it, would say we're not better off today. But instead, she used the time to reassure Americans that we are better off, blah, 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 whatever answer that she wanted to give. Instead, she deferred that to just automatically start attacking Trump. So I'm just like, okay, we want to talk policy. We want to talk uniting. We want to talk all this stuff. But instead, let's just lob attacks at the opponent and literally not get anywhere. I mean, it's astounding. Like if you look at debates from years and years ago, there's actual substantial conversation happening. Like, why are you different? What do you think? What are you going to do? But now it's just morphed into a cage fight, a UFC fight without throwing physical punches. There's nothing productive about it.
And I will say that I was disappointed in Trump because I don't feel as if he, when he had some opportunities, really did the same thing or did not do the same thing. And he kind of also didn't lay out a lot of extreme plans. So I don't want to be just like one sided here. I don't think
Correct.
Trump did an amazing job. And they did ask Kamala some hard questions. They did reference some things that she had said and done, like her changing
Or
all of her
hasn't done.
policies and whatnot. And yeah, and like, kind of being the worst vice president that's ever existed. And vice presidents used to just be not recognized. You're just like, oh, that's who that is. She made a name for herself by being the absolute worst one.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's this, they played their cards right in terms of like, I swear she had Chat GPT in her ear, because in terms of the way she usually talks, she was so much more clear and just like able to string things together that I've never seen her be able to do. So I personally think she had someone answering those questions in her ear, but it's just crazy to me that someone can go, "Ignore what's all around you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, even though it's the exact same plan, it's going to get better. Just keep
Yeah.
listening to me. I'm going to make it better." And it's just like, one thing Trump did do was consistently go back to like, this is a horrible economy.
Yeah.
We have, the worst,
Inflation.
influx of immigration and, illegal immigration and inflation that we've had in the past so many years for the longest time. And those are the issues that I think everyone really cares about and is really upset about. But all that was coming from Kamala was just, again, allegory of speech, just very, you could kind of connect the statements to anything you wanted to make it seem more positive.
Yeah,
They didn't
absolutely.
have much definition.
It really didn't. It was just it was wordplay, like words play, empty words, all this stuff. And man, when they started talking about abortion and how basically, I mean, just all of, for anyone that's listened to the debate, you know what they said. But at the same time, Trump's answer, in my opinion, is perfect because that's what he did during his administration. They put it into the hands of the states, which is what it's supposed to be. Imagine that. It's not supposed to be an overarching, overreaching, invasive, you know, government telling people what they can and can't do. We are the United States for a reason. We are different from every other country on the face of this planet for a reason. We have state power. And it's just when he kept reiterating because they wouldn't get off it, he was saying, look, we're giving more power to the people by putting it into the state's hands, and the people are actually able to vote. But then Kamala was just going off on her separate tangent saying, you're willing to kill people, all this stuff. And I'm just like, would you not want to have it in the hands of the people where their voices can be heard more so than it can be at the federal level? But it's just like the crazy dichotomy that was going back and forth. It's like, okay, we want people to be able to choose, but we hate the fact that it's actually in the state's hands where people can choose and vote, but we want it federal, but we want people to make their own choices as to what they can do with their own body. So it's like, what is it? I mean, her definition and the way that she was communicating was just, it did not make any sense. And for some reason, they just kept hounding and hounding and hounding. There is no better place for anything going on in our country than to be in the state's hands, in my opinion, because that's where the people's voices are heard.
Well, for certain topics, and I will again, just to be fair, say that Trump started doing the same thing back. I don't want to make this one-sided and make it seem as if no matter what we hear, we're going to just all of a sudden take one side. But and it was going back and forth. They were both guilty of doing it. Just, you're going to do this. If you let her be
Correct.
president, this will be this. But the best definition is it was just pure pandering.
Yes, 100%. Pure blaming, pure, well, you would do this, you would do this.
Yeah. So long story short, it was not a very satisfying thing to watch. There were so many times that I, just like you, turned it off and I was like, I can't watch this. I
Yeah.
can't watch this. But I was like, you know what? I want to force myself to watch it just so I can really comment on it and actually have an opinion. So it was hard to watch, and I felt as if I stayed up a little bit later than I wanted to for no reason.
Yeah. Because it ultimately, it, did you, so being that you forced yourself to watch it, I did not. I ended up going back to watch highlights, realizing I did not miss much, honestly. But did you feel like it was more productive when the debate finished than if they had had it at all?
I mean, on a scale of what it should be, on a scale of like 1 to 10, I'd give it a 2.
Yeah. So basically, that's my point. It's just like it's gotten to the point to where it's just personal attacks, pretty much, versus actual substantial productive conversation.
Yeah.
Like the American public, we don't want to see two people going back and forth calling each other out for stuff. It's like, okay, we're used to that by now. Like, what are you actually going to do to fix what is going on? And the first thing, you can't fix something that you don't admit is a problem in the first place, which kind of scared me. When they first asked Kamala that question, are we better off today than we were 4 years ago? By her not answering that, obviously that makes me nervous.
Yeah. I'm definitely nervous for the overall situation. I am just going to take it one day at a time, but I don't want to discuss this too much
Yeah.
because it is not only a hot button issue for lots of people, it doesn't do anything good for my heart.
No, it's not productive.
No, it's not productive at all.
You want to know something cool though?
Tell me.
That it happened. It was
Oh,
yesterday. So how we were talking a few episodes ago of SpaceX and the Polaris Dawn mission, where for those that haven't heard that episode, Polaris Dawn mission is basically a manned crew of 4 individuals. It's a commercial space flight. Okay, so you're talking billionaires, engineers, just normal people, non-astronauts that had the opportunity to fly up in a Dragon capsule via SpaceX into orbit for multiple days to do the first commercial spacewalk in history. So that mission, the first time that they were planning it a couple weeks ago, they ended up having to delay due to timetables, weather, all that stuff. But coast was clear. Ended up launching the uh, the rocket, and now the crew of 4, they're up in orbit right now, and the boosters came back down, no issues, landed perfectly. But it's kind of cool seeing the outline for what the whole purpose is. Like, it's not just for fun. It's not 4 people that got to go up into space because it's like, heck yeah, we're in space for the first time ever. There's actual stuff that SpaceX is testing. Um, so 50% of the crew, I think on the 3rd day of the mission, so I believe it should be by Friday, 2 out of the 4 will be able to go out of the Dragon capsule and do a spacewalk tethered to the actual capsule, which is going to be absolutely just in and known. And I mean, in and of itself is going to be insane to see. So 50% of the crew will be able to experience what it's like to spacewalk, but they're also running tests on the new spacesuits that SpaceX has developed. So they're fully wearing them. I mean, they're going to test them out, I guess, see how they work. And we were talking about this last night. Like, just imagine, okay, that's pretty cool to be, the first commercial crew to do a spacewalk, but to be almost like the guinea pigs for these new spacesuits, being like, put them on, see how they work. It's just
right.
like, oh shoot. I mean, it's pretty wild to allow non-professional astronauts go do a test like that.
Imagine getting the faulty one. Just being like, well, we found out where the defect was. It turned out to be a hole in the back of the suit. So one person died a horrible death, freezing to death immediately. The other 3 are doing okay. But also, imagine losing that rock, paper, scissors game of being
Yeah,
the one of the ones to get to go do the spacewalk. Just like being a billionaire and buying your way into that thing. And then there's no way you can buy your way into being the person that actually gets to go outside of the capsule and just like having to realize as a billionaire you do have a limit, and that's one of them.
right. Yeah, that'd be interesting. It kind of reminds me of the oh my goodness, what was the submarine?
Ocean, um, Ocean Gate, or
Was it Ocean Gate?
it was
Or was it
something
no,
Gate.
it was Titan. Wasn't it the Titan submarine?
Maybe that was its name, but I think the company was called Ocean Gate. I think
Yeah,
it's something Gate, but I could even be wrong on that. But you all know what we're talking about.
yeah.
A couple
But just
people want to clear the
billionaires,
waters.
yeah, billionaires getting to go on a submarine that was just an aluminum can. I mean, just it's like they were like the Boeing of underwater. Just not specced out properly. I mean,
Yeah.
improper procedure, just all kinds of terrible, terrible procedures. And I mean, building the actual submarine, we all know what happened. And oh my gosh, I cannot fathom that.
At least it was instant. Like
Yeah,
there would be no ability for you to really even perceive that it's happening. It would happen so quickly. You would almost be looking around and be like, "Oh wait, we're dead."
yeah, yeah. Still horrible.
And the guy's kid didn't want to go. There
Yeah,
was an Indian billionaire on there and he brought his kid. And his kid was like, I think he was either scared or just generally didn't want to. And it's just like, imagine being dead and just being like, I guess I was right.
yeah. That'd be pretty terrible.
Mom's going to be pissed about this one.
Yeah. But digressing back to Polaris Dawn, evidently this spacewalk is supposed to happen tonight into tomorrow at 1:20 Central Time. So here in a few hours, they're going to open up that hatch and do the first commercial spacewalk. So by the time we wake up tomorrow morning, we'll be able to see video, which is going to be so cool.
Watch them forget to put the tether on.
Bye.
Well, that's one. I guess I can go now.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
But that reminds me, I mean, we were doing a little bit of discussion on this earlier. SpaceX's, or before we get to that, Elon came out and said just the other day, I think, at least within the last couple weeks, that so Starship has been launched, what is it, 3 times so far? They've tested it. This past time, Starship got out into orbit, was orbiting, but then upon re-entry, it blew up.
That's
All that
not
to
supposed to
say,
happen.
yeah, it's supposed to stay intact
It's
in an
supposed to.
ideal world. But Elon came out and said that in the next 2 years, he wants to send an unmanned starship to Mars. And pending all goes well with that, in the next 4 years, the first manned crew to Mars will happen. What do you think about that time frame? I know a lot of it's highly obviously dependent on what happens in the first 2 years, but do you think it'll be longer, or do you think that's a realistic timeline?
I think it will be longer just because, like, the testing with the initial Falcon rockets or Dragons, whatever they call them, look how many tests it took to get that right and how many blew up. Now we're putting humans into the mix. You've got to be so sure about everything and then so sure about the factors that humans bring and the amount of time in that space shuttle. That's still one thing that we haven't really we understand it from a objective view, but subjectively we don't really understand long-term space travel. It's going to have some unpredicted factors, and man, it's just like the people that go on that first trip to Mars. I'm not saying I hope nothing happens to them, but the chances that they're gonna be subject to a horrible experience is pretty high.
Yeah. Just because, I mean, it's pretty much to your point, it's a one-way trip.
Well, it's
Is
not
it?
supposed to be.
Well, not supposed to be, but I mean, for that first manned crew, like, it's a pretty high probability that I feel like you would need to absolutely be prepped for and realize that, okay, this could happen. But referencing what Elon said, when did he post this? September 7th, so within the last 4 days. So Elon said the first starships, so they're going to launch multiple to Mars, will launch in 2 years when the next Earth Mars transfer window opens. These will be uncrewed to test the reliability of landing intact on Mars. If those landings go well, then the first crewed flights to Mars will be in 4 years. Flight rate will grow exponentially from there, with the goal of building a self-sustaining city in about 20 years. Being multiplanetary will vastly increase the probable lifespan of consciousness, as we will no longer have all our eggs literally and metabolically on one planet. So 20 years, he's anticipating a city.
I
That's
would I would
impressive.
I would really scale back what you're expecting from a city.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a habitation of a few people, and that's the crazy part is it's it's not designed or is we're not trying to design it to be a one-way trip, but just think of that window. You have to wait like years before there's another window to where you can launch and get there. And another crazy thing to think about is all of the debris that is in our atmosphere from satellites that have blown up
Yeah.
is a constant worry for rockets or the International Space Station with those two people that are still stuck up there.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's things like screws traveling at 18,000 miles per hour and have multiple times slammed straight into the International Space Station. And it's just, we really have hindered our ability to do this efficiently because we have created a blanket of debris, and everything eventually comes back down to Earth. If it's orbiting the Earth, it's eventually going to fall into the atmosphere. But gosh dang, man, it would just, there's so much risk to every single part of it, and you have one window like every so many years to send
Yeah.
people there. That's just,
What
once you
is the
landed,
window?
huh?
What is the window? I'm
I
curious.
think it's about 2 years.
Is
I
it
don't know.
consistent every time?
I
What is the I'm gonna look that up. Sorry. Keep talking.
No, I mean there's not much to add to that. It's just there's so many things that could go wrong in being the people that experience that. I really think that we're going to have to send professional astronauts the first time.
Oh, we have
Obviously,
to.
when there's no way we could send regular or anything less than a highly trained astronaut. And I think that's going to be one of the hardest parts of making this any type of regular, is making the trip there and back something a regular person could do and potentially navigate some type of unexpected situation if it happens.
Yeah. So it looks like every 26 months is when the Earth Mars window opens up.
Yeah, so rate it 2 years.
That is 2 years and 2 months. So, like, yeah, just imagine, and it makes me think of that movie, The Martian, with Matt Damon. Cool movie, in and of its own right, whatever. But if something happens, help's not coming. Help could come, but it's going to take, what did they say, to get from Earth to Mars is 780 days. Is that right? Hold on, let me confirm this. How long would it take to get to Mars? Yeah, well, 7 or 8 months it would take. So it's just like in the vacuum of space. I mean, something happens.
Wait, you said 780 days?
That was a separate thing. If all
Okay.
goes well, you'll get to the red planet in about 7 or 8 months.
Mm,
So, I mean, even if you sent help, but referring back to the Martian, like when they were sitting there trying to send supplies to him, I mean, it's not like, help is on the way, dear, like Mrs. Doubtfire. It is, but it's going to take a long time to get there. So, I mean, just the amount of preparation that, I mean, that would have to happen for these astronauts to survive. I mean, it's going to be crazy. It's almost like you would, I mean, literally have to send multiple starships, one manned and then maybe one not manned. I don't know, just full of supplies.
maybe even womaned.
Nice.
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 We support everyone in this podcast.
That's true.
But
But it reminds me of that Michael Scott joke where he's like, I don't see white collar, I don't see blue collar. You want to know why? Because I'm collar blind. Just
oh
trying to
man,
bridge the gap between the office and the warehouse.
we need more shows like The Office to come back.
Oh my goodness. They could never do that show in today's time.
A reunion episode of The Office would be
Incredible.
probably one of the, I mean, the amount of money they could make off of that would be insane.
Oh, it'd be incredible. But I was gonna say, for those that haven't seen it, look up on YouTube after this if you're curious about the Mars missions and what SpaceX is envisioning. It's only a 5 minute ish video on YouTube, just Starship mission to Mars. Go watch that. And there's a couple other videos basically as to how and what the plan would look like to build kind of a colony on Mars. Um, Very interesting. Basically, just sending starships that are completely unmanned at first, but then having robots basically start building 3D structures via 3D printers on the planet's surface in hopes of it being enough to sustain actual human life, but then also the process of converting I mean, we talked about this earlier today. Whatever is in Mars's atmosphere, or they're testing something right now on the planet using a device called Moxie, where it's converting stuff on the planet to oxygen.
I'd like to understand more about that because I'm sure it's not as far as anyone thinks. But you want to know a really a thing I'm very interested in?
Ooh, hold on, real quick. I pulled it up.
Okay.
It's from NASA. So Moxie refers to the Mars Oxygen in situ resource utilization experiment. You got that?
Yeah,
It's
I remember.
a device on NASA's Perseverance rover designed to generate oxygen directly from the Martian atmosphere by extracting oxygen from carbon dioxide, essentially acting as an oxygen generator on Mars. It is currently being used to test the feasibility of future human exploration on the planet by producing breathable oxygen from the Martian planet. So we're testing that as we speak. And from what I've briefly heard, like it's actually working.
That's really cool. Being able to terraform anything would be
Key. I mean, literally key. If you can't
well,
terraform, then you can't. You just can't do anything.
you're gonna tear a leave.
You're gonna tear a leave real quick.
Kind of what I said.
I thought it was better when I said it though.
True, me too.
Nice.
But the thing that I'm very interested in that I just like can't get enough of is Europa, one of Saturn's moons. It is a ice covered planet, but deep into the ice there is so much water, straight H2O, and it is the highest likelihood of a planet in our solar system that could have some type of life in the actual ocean because as you get closer to the core, that's what warms the water, and at a certain point the water is warm enough and has the components for whether it's microbiotic or microbial or actual developed some type of things swimming around. Now I think that one's obviously the farthest out there in terms of what to expect, but even if we found microbes, live microbes on another planet in our solar system,
Yeah.
that would rewrite everything that we it would not rewrite everything we know. It would realign our expectations in a much more confident way.
Yeah. On the note of Europa, I'm reading this little blip, but evidently Europa generates 1,000 tons of oxygen every 24 hours. And this is roughly enough to allow 1 million people to breathe for one day.
Imagine being the a million and first.
Be like, who's it going to be?
Get
But
out.
isn't that crazy? 1,000 tons of oxygen on a moon.
Well,
And
I don't know what I would compare that to in my mind in terms of how I would think of that or what's the right word for that? How I would, I guess, imagine or
interpret, imagine, yeah, imagine.
interpret something like that. But yeah, I mean, just the fact that I mean, it's crazy to me that I think I've said this before, but there used to be the crazy thing used to be whether or not there was even water anywhere in space, and it
Yeah,
was like thought to be like this is the only place with water, which just the saying that out loud to me sounds insanely crazy. But in regards to the fact that there's a planet within our solar system that could very potentially have at least microbial life, that would just I would and the thing that really makes me mad is they haven't dedicated they are now, but they haven't really dedicated that much time to that. And that could have been something that we figured out a long time ago. Or
yeah,
really if we dedicated time to that, it would have been I think finding microbial life on Europa would have been 10 times more interesting than the pictures that come from Mars. And I love the pictures that come from Mars. Those things to me are mind blowing. But and did you know that like the people at NASA have been caught multiple times forging those pictures, changing the color on them and
yeah,
changing different aspects? It's very weird.
yeah. Which goes back to the conspiracy. Did we ever actually make it to space?
And I will say our our highest episode so far is sharks, conspiracy theories, and more. So
Yeah.
apparently, you guys love us talking about conspiracy theories.
And we've got some conspiracy theories that we have not even remotely touched yet, which we could maybe tune into for next week's episode. I think that'd be fun. I think that'd be a good consistent thing for us to talk about. Just make, like a conspiracy theory episode, where we just kind of designate time towards just talking conspiracy theory. Make it like once a month. For
Yeah,
audience, what would you guys think? I mean, obviously, feel free to comment. Let us know. Is that something that you guys would enjoy? Because based upon what we're seeing on the analytics side, it would be a yes.
and just to be nice, there was someone that left a comment that wanted us to discuss
The
a
most
certain
important topic we've talked about.
We're not
probably.
famous enough not to listen to these comments yet. So, Chase, if you want to introduce the topic, we can break this down and really get into the important parts and
Yeah.
the really life-changing and
Yeah.
impactful factors of this conversation. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Let me preface it by saying this is probably the most important thing that we have talked about to date on the podcast. I mean, there's not much else to say, so I'll just dive in. The topic is Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's celebrity name combination. Like, evidently, they're called Tavis, but personally, I think Trailer would be way better. What do you think?
Travis Kelce and
And
Taylor Swift.
their actual name, like celebrity whatever name, is Tavis, but I think Trailer would be better.
I mean, this is just so important that my brain is struggling to have input because there's a part of me that doesn't want to encroach on such an important topic that I get any part of it wrong. And I feel like my body's naturally respecting this. So
Mm,
I will have to say that trailer sounds amazing.
yeah.
And I feel it represents the couple.
Mm,
I feel it really is a new path and a new image that they can create together and probably start a line of actual trailers. So,
honestly, you can go somewhere with Trailer.
man, that should be
There's
on a t-shirt.
possibility. You know what I'm gonna do? So
Do
I
it.
can attach a poll to this podcast, and I'll pose that as the question: which celebrity name is better, Tavis
Watch
or Trailer? And we'll get the audience to chime in too.
watch everyone unsubscribe.
Yeah, be like, ah, they didn't do Travis justice or Tavis. I still can't get it right.
I
Tavis.
just I'm not gonna disparage anyone, but if that's what's keeping you up at night, Godspeed getting through this life. Godspeed with the other challenges that come along. It is
Although I will say, we have our things that we like that we will probably die on a hill for, like fight to the last breath.
and hills.
And hills, fight for hills, because
They're not everywhere.
I mean, Obi-Wan had it right when he had the high ground. So there's something to the hill, okay, that you have to pay attention to. Um, oh my gosh, separate thing that we have to dive into probably next week regarding the high ground, because there was a connection made in episode 6 that alluded and perfectly, like, really, really tied in well to episode 3 when Obi-Wan had the high ground. And it was, yeah, we'll get into that next week because I thought it was a really cool nod basically to the prequel and then the OG trilogy. But the Swifties out there, it's a real thing. You like what you like, respect that 100%, and we like what we like. So it's just like, I do understand the passion.
Yeah,
It's like everybody's got their thing. Everybody has those days. What is that song?
you all know what I'm talking about. We all get that way.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Nobody's
Everybody had-
perfect. I
Yeah,
gotta work it.
yeah,
Then
that.
she then
But
she
I
went a
think
little off the rails.
Yeah, just tad bit.
Really prove no one's perfect.
Exactly. But all that to say, sorry, Swifty fans, I'm in favor of Trailer.
I think Trailer is way better than
Ta-
Travis, was it?
I thought it was. I keep saying Travis, but it's Tavis.
Tavis. Tavis.
Tavis.
That
Yeah.
sounds like it's someone on probation from South Louisiana or something like that.
Tavis Johnston.
Tavis Johnson, right out of Metairie,
Jeez.
arrested for meth distribution and stealing copper wire.
There you go. It's the Walter White of Louisiana.
There's nothing more redneck or down south redneck than stealing copper wire.
Yeah. We had a job site over in Bachman that we were dredging Bachman Lake a couple years ago. You remember that by
Yeah.
Dallas Love Field? And yeah, we encountered some instances of theft. I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure someone stole a massive battery out of a heavy piece of equipment or piece of heavy equipment, copper wiring, obviously stolen, all kinds of good stuff. So it's a real thing.
It's a real problem. And just to throw this out there, you did bring up Star Wars. Jar Jar Binks is a Sith
It's a
Lord
Sith Lord. That could be one of our conspiracy theories we talk about
because,
because
and
Star Wars is real.
even if you don't really buy in or understand the detail behind it, definitely it will give you something to look into, and at least one
Absolutely.
minute of your life will be fulfilled with some great conspiracy horror.
Conspiracy horror.
Conspiracy.
So next week we're talking Star Wars, specifically the Vader episode 6 incident with Luke Skywalker and then Obi-Wan Anakin regarding the high ground. We're diving into Jar Jar Binks being a Sith Lord. And what do you think? Conspiracy theory episode? You feeling it?
I don't know. I think we need some fun topics as well. Like I've got some pulled over here. One of them is childhood myths you believed for too long. I think that's
I
kind of
yeah,
interesting.
I think I still believe some of them.
Unspoken guy rules.
Mm,
Unspoken guy rules. I think that could
yeah,
be
that'd be a good one.
that we're definitely including one of those. So
Yeah.
if there's
So
any yeah,
women, if you're listening, we'll be spilling some beans on some stuff.
if you're looking to really understand men, and not
Yeah.
only men that don't have success with women, tune tune in hard.
Yeah. That,
Yeah, we're gonna leave that there.
well, yeah, that's enough said about that one.
Just raw.
But well, I think that's probably a good place to wrap up. Thank you guys once again for tuning in. We say it every single episode because
Davis.
yeah, because trailer rules. But we are super thankful for all of our listeners and just how involved some of you guys are, becoming and just leaving some feedback and awesome information, comments, stuff to talk about, whatever it might be. Please continue to engage with us. I will be posting the poll for the celebrity nickname attached to this podcast. So please vote because this is one of the biggest issues our nation is facing in today's time. I know everyone said immigration, the economy, inflation, but this is bigger and we need to get to the bottom of this. So your vote matters. You have a voice and we want you to use it.
And if you're not gonna help decide, the worst thing we could let happen is them not have a celebrity name. So these are the real
Exactly.
issues. We're getting to the real issues. I'm glad
Yep.
that y'all are really there with us, and we're going to take you to the deeper side of it that other podcasts
Yeah.
won't. So again, always, as always, appreciate the heck out of anyone whose ears these beautiful sound waves are gracing, and please continue to tune in. It would help our self-confidence, and we're trying to quit
Yes.
our day jobs. So
Yeah.
that is my last. I hope my boss is listening. That's the last input I have, and I love you all. I mean, maybe not all of you, but the most of you.
Most of you. Yeah.
Strong feelings. We'll
Yes.
talk about it. But
Yes. But yeah, and also if you're enjoying this, please share it with someone that you think would also enjoy it that hasn't quite heard the Anything and Everything podcast. Best form of advertisement is word of mouth. So if you're enjoying it, feel free to share it with someone. Tell them to leave feedback, topics to talk about, whatever it is. I mean, like we've said, it's called Anything and Everything for a reason, and we love to talk about all of that stuff. So,
Mhm. I've heard,
um,
the Taliban is actually pretty,
yeah,
man, they're liking it. A lot of downloads.
a lot of that's maybe be concerned. I don't know. I just
JK, just kidding.
JK, they are not listening. Maybe the government. The government's probably listening.
We're gonna get arrested. But either
Yeah,
way, love all you
just
guys. Y'all have a great rest of the night or whatever time it is, wherever you're listening, and, see you next week.
absolutely. See you guys.